This YouTube video is a continuation of the previous YouTube video in this series. Kathleen goes on to speak to the fact that Miss West never sleeps and takes pride in the fact that she never sleeps. Kathleen also speaks to the fact that Miss West is delusional in the sense that she draws a figure on a piece of paper and then keeps drawing circles around it to the extent that she presses so hard she goes through the paper. Quite possibly these people that she draws on the paper are people she thinks in her own crazy mind are against her, when in reality she's against everybody else.
In your personal opinion, do you think Devra West is of sound mind?
I do not, and I have expressed that several occasions, as I did the day before I was fired to Cheryl O'Brien. I told her that she was having severe mood swings. I was concerned. She had not slept. I took very close care of Devra. I fed her vitamins. I took care of her world, everything she did. I monitored.
You were the only one allowed in the room.
Yes, and I was the only one allowed in her room and office at that point. And I saw evidence of her not sleeping since returning of Israel, which was on September 24th? 5th. Yeah. And she is proud of the fact that she never sleeps.
Yeah.
She thinks it's godlike, doesn't she?
Yeah, it brings her pure and closer. She scribbles very oddly on papers. She'll write a piece of paper. I found many pieces of paper of a figure drawn on it, and then circle to where it was almost through the piece of paper. It was so intense.
Wow.
Intensely drawn.
Kathleen alludes to the fact that Miss West talked about Tan Mayo, what the person that Miss West called her little kitty, but never in a positive way. And similarly with Lisa and Shirley, the other two benefactors, people who give her large sums of money, although Tan Mayo, being a multimillionairess, would have given Devra Patton West probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions by now, but she never talked about Tan Mayo, Corin Coffin in a complimentary way.
Did you ever hear of her talk about Tamayo?
Tan Mayo was, yes. She spoke of Tan Mayo many ways.
I mean,
Positive
always
and
complimentary, or?
No. It was never complimentary. Nor was it to Lisa or Shirley
Yeah, never complimentary.
or Marion or Anandra or...
So any of the people
Anybody.
around her, she didn't refer to them in a complimentary way. She
No.
basically character assassinated them behind their backs.
Kathleen then speaks to the fact that Madonna, golden lab that Tan Mayo had given Devra West as a gift or to look after. Tan Mayo was very upset at the state she found Madonna in when she returned to Montana from Brazil. Kathleen wondered if Devra Patton West was abusing the dog, because the dog is obviously very nervous around her and urinates on the carpet. Kathleen makes the comment that there's a lot of abuse going on there where Devra Patton West holds court, and the whistleblower has made it very clear that everybody around Devra Patton West is abused, humans and animals alike.
Devra somehow accumulated Madonna from Tan Mayo.
Yes.
And the last thing I heard Tan Mayo saying was she was extremely upset at the abusive state that Madonna was in upon returning back to
She's left alone.
Montana.
Wow.
Oh, she's very mean to the animals. And yeah, and I've always wondered if she doesn't abuse Madonna. And that's why Madonna urinates on the carpet in the house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I did talk to the vet about that.
Wow.
Trauma. That's why dogs do that.
Yep.
Gosh.
And Deborah said it's because Madonna was raised in a kennel. And she only knew to go to the bathroom in a very small place.
That's a big place
Well,
downstairs.
that house is huge. It's enormous, and it's not a tight, confining space.
No, not at all.
Also, Madonna's left out all night long.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of abuse going on there.
So not a happy place to work.
No. It was a no.
Tell me what you find in the bedroom.
Kathleen speaks to the fact that where she had to work was a very hostile environment, and how she and Diane dreaded going to work each day. Kathleen speaks to the fact that a lot of what she saw was definitely not normal. She spoke to her friends, her boyfriend, and it was definitely not normal, and she stated that it was very exhausting. Kathleen goes on to say that she never slept a whole night for the entire time she worked there. Kathleen said that she never slept, she had nightmares, she took Praxil, and the first good night's sleep she had was last night, the night after she left.
Would you characterize the place as a hostile working environment?
Yes, it was very hostile. We dreaded going to work every day. Diane and myself would call each other on our way to work to talk each other into going to work, and then we would talk to each other as we headed down the dirt driveway on, oh my God, I can't believe what we just saw. This is not normal. I spoke to my children, my girlfriends, my boyfriend, of all this stuff I saw.
How did it affect you emotionally, psychologically?
It just exhausted me.
Were you sleeping?
No, I never slept a whole night the whole time I worked there.
Sure.
I slept last night.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
See?
Yeah, I slept till 9:30.
Wow.
I know.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I never slept. I had nightmares. I took Paxil, Trazodone to sleep.
Oh my goodness.
Kathleen speaks as to how she would come to work in the morning and she would see evidence of fits or fights in Deborah Patton West's bedroom. Her closet could be ripped apart, things thrown around the room, broken glasses. Kathleen speaks to the fact that on one day she and Diane noticed a gash down Deborah Patton West's face, and they came to the conclusion that she'd been drinking heavily and fallen down the staircase.
Oh yeah, I would come to work and see evidence of fits of rage of
During the
Deborah
night?
during the night. Whether she was fighting with people maybe on the phone, or Anandra or Jack at night, or whoever else was a house guest at the time. Her closet could be ripped apart. Things were thrown against the wall in her room, broken glasses, just things in disarray. I came to work one time and saw evidence of maybe Deborah had fell against something.
She had
Yeah, she had a definite gash on the side of her face. Were you there at that time? Yeah, and she said that she had slipped and then she couldn't remember. And me and Diane and myself mostly made the judgment that she had been drinking and had fallen probably down the stairs.
Wow.
Because of the amount of drinking and not sleeping can wear on one's mental
That'll do it.
capability.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Here Kathleen talks about how Deborah West takes her to Costco and how She watches Deborah West feeling the bottles and touching the labels. Kathleen says that by touching the bottles and feeling the labels, it tells her which bottles of wine to buy. Kathleen is of the opinion that she's an alcoholic.
So why she drinks Tara something?
Well, I think she drinks
The Tara. What is it?
the wine she drinks. Oh, she'll drink any wine. She asks me to. She actually takes me to Costco, and she stands in Costco and feels the wine bottles, and then she picks up the vibration off the labels, and that there tells her which bottle to buy.
Okay. Would you say that she has an alcoholic problem?
I would say she has a definite alcohol problem.
When Kathleen was asked by Joseph Constantino what opinion Miss West had of herself, Kathleen responds that she thinks she's God. She thinks she's the Christ. She asserts that Christ speaks through her, and if you don't, or anybody else doesn't believe what she's saying, then they're going against the Christ.
How would you describe her opinion of herself?
High.
Can you substantiate that?
She is bulletproof.
Would you call her a narcissist?
Probably. Yes.
God.
She is God. She is Christ. That's what she tells me. She is Christ. And if you do, Christ speaks through her, is what she says. And if you do not believe what she says, then you are going against Christ. Which, myself being a Christian, I figured it was safer just to keep my mouth shut. And I was asked at one point early on in my employment what my religious belief was. And I said, I believe in all religions. And they left me alone after that.
Kathleen goes on to explain that Deborah West believes that there are 3 phases towards the end of the world, and that we are now in phase 3, and that unless individuals believe in her and go forward with her, they're going to die.
No.
Yeah, man. She believes that the end of the world is coming.
Oh, yes.
And has told me that there's 3 phases, and we are now entering the 3rd phase. And if you do not believe or go forward with Devra, you will be left behind. You will suffer and die. And she handed me, upon returning back from Israel, 2 packages which held brown vials of radiation pills, which I'm sure was to protect her in case of a nuclear attack.
To review the rest of this material, please move on to the next YouTube video in this series.